Man, we had a BTA. I'm talking 31-0 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Was it a fluke? Were they just a bad team? Um, what does this mean for the offense? Is it fixed? Let's talk about it. Welcome in and welcome back to the Down South Philly show, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Make sure y'all tap in, man. That's right. Hit that like button, drop a few comments, and as always, subscribe. We got a good one today, man. We got to talk about this 31-0 blowout against a team that just wasn't really good. The Las Vegas Raiders. I think they 2 wins on the season. Um, it was probably the most complete game that the Eagles have played all year long. As a matter of fact, it was the only shutout that we've had since like 2018. When you look at the list of the numbers, and I'll go over it a little later, but the numbers are astronomical. I think it's a stat in there, and I don't know how true it is. I actually do question it a little bit, but I saw something that said we didn't miss any tackles, which is kind of hard for me to believe because I feel like I at least saw 2 missed tackles in there when I was watching the game live. But it's neither here nor there. Um, just a complete win on both sides of the ball. Obviously, defense is giving us their best shot each and every week, with the respect of maybe a few games here and there, against some teams where most of the time it was just them tiring out and of not getting any help from the offense. But I would say there hasn't been a game this year that we've lost strictly because of our defense. Now, that same can't be said about the offense. Offense has been the Achilles heel all year long. There have been bright spots in quarters, there have been bright spots in halves, but for the most part, the offense has just been the weak link of the team, for the better part of the year. Was not the case today. Everything was clicking on all cylinders. It was from the first drive. We had our very first third down where we throw it to AJ and get the pass interference, and then we just take off from there. Hurts definitely rebounds from last week having a rough game, with 5 turnovers, and the rest of the offensive line, they blocked well. KP called a clean game for the most part. Um, Receivers did their job when called upon to catch the ball. It was one of those games, and oddly enough. So when we were going through the 3-game losing streak, right? When we was going through the 3-game losing streak, AJ Brown was on a tear. He was getting 100 yards a game, maybe a touchdown a game, just tearing it up, right? But we weren't winning, which proves that the offense can't successfully run through AJ. We tried it. We tried it for 3 weeks. Um, so with that being said, you just got to be a part of this thing, man. You can't be the main piece. Now, is AJ still a top receiver in this game? Absolutely. In my opinion, top two. He's a top 2 receiver in my opinion. But the offense can't run through AJ. We've seen over the past 3 weeks, he's got his numbers, he's got his touches, his targets, whatever. And it just hasn't really mattered in the grand scheme of winning because obviously it didn't help us win the game. Now, last week can be more attributed to the fact that we turned the ball over so much. when we don't turn the ball over, we simply just don't win the game. We don't lose the game. We're a hard team to beat. So it's hard to find a game where your offense turns the ball over against anybody that many times and wins the game still. Uh, but with all that being said, with the 3-game losing streak, with the sloppy play that's been happening all year long, with the ineptitude of the offense that's been happening all year long, it was good to see us finally put everything together. The run game looked good. Like I said, KP called a clean game. Hurts had another perfect passer rating. Um, Tank Bigsby got some touches. As a matter of fact, we offense performed so well that we after we hit AJ for the dagger in the fourth quarter, at the top of the fourth quarter, they sat for the rest of the game. So, which is good because we have a semi-short week coming up against the Commanders, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But I just want to say that I'm truly proud of the performance that they put out there. So when we look at some of these numbers, Jalen Hurts went 12 for 15, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 154 passer rating. Heck, even Tanner McKee had a perfect day because he went 3 for 3 in the fourth quarter for 33 yards. Didn't get any touchdowns, no picks, but he also had 112 passer rating. Hey, what's good, Daniel Barry? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It just really feels good to be back in the win column. It's been a rough few weeks, especially when you consider the fact that we know as Eagle fans the talent that's on this team. And to see them week in and week out underachieve, it's really just frustrating because you know what they look like at their best. We saw them go to the top of the mountaintop last year, cash in for a Super Bowl, and for us to kind of sputter out pretty much all season long. It was tough to watch. Um, Fans booing in the stadium. It was a complete 180, I would say. So Saquon had a decent day. 22 yards, 78, 22 carries, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. He only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. It really was one of those games where we just stayed committed to giving him the ball. Now he started to heat up later on in the game, but I wouldn't say that he necessarily killed him. What I like is the fact that Tank Bigsby also had 17 carries, 57 yards, even though he only averaged 3.4 yards. So I think you need the dynamic of both Saquon and Tank to be at your peak in the run game because Saquon gives you the home run effect, right? But as I said all year long, this offensive line isn't the same offensive line that we've had over the past few years. Don Padre, what's good? What's up with you? This offensive line is not the same offensive line that we've had in past years. And then when you consider the fact that it's no Lane Johnson, even the guys that are there in Cam Jurgens and Dickerson, they've been banged up all year. Tyler Steen is not on Mekhi Becton's level in the run game. Um, so the lanes just aren't there like they used to be, especially not last year. So, with that being said, Saquon hasn't necessarily lost a step. That's not why we're not seeing the same success. It's just the line and the scheme isn't the same as it was last year. What Tank provides you is a change of pace. And even if it's nothing there, Tank can fall forward for an extra 2, an extra 3 yards, which is valuable. I actually wouldn't mind implementing packages for Tank in short yardage. I think if we're at the goal line, put Tank in. I think he's more effective in short yardage, and obviously Saquon can do everything else. I mean, he's a good third down back. He can block as well, and he's our home run hitter. But when it comes to getting those tough yards inside the tackles when it's not there, Tank is probably your better option in that regard. And I think that it would be better served for us to use Saquon and Tank like Detroit uses Sonic and Knuckles. We got Jahmyr Gibbs, who is the home run hitter. And then Montgomery is that change of pace type power back that they can use in those short yardage situations. Now he can break it too. He can break it too. But he's more of the power back, if you will, in that tandem. And I think that our offense would be better served using them both, similar to how Detroit uses their guys. But when we talk about the offense and KP, you've seen KP be good for a quarter. You've seen Kevin Patullo be good for a half. You've seen him be good for maybe 3.5 quarters at times, but never have you seen him put a complete game together. I think with the um, adjustments that they've made with incorporating Sirianni into the room, giving him a voice or letting him give his input into what the offense should look like on a week in and week out basis has paid dividends as well. So when we look at this game against the Raiders, you have to ask yourself, did they fix the offense or was this just a product of playing one of the worst teams in the NFL? My answer is a little bit of both. Um, it still remains to be seen if the offense is truly fixed, just because it's just one game. So no matter if it was, like it was a 31-point blowout, okay, let's go out and build upon that against the Commanders. Let's go out and build upon that against the Buffalo Bills and then the Commanders one more time. It's lined up the next 3 weeks for us to fine tune our offense and build upon what we saw Sunday. And it should allow us to hit the ground running if the offense is truly fixed and it wasn't just the fact that we were playing a team that was less than. Where I think it matters the most is our offense hasn't looked good even against lesser opponents. So if you have if you're looking for any reason to be positive in this win, even though it was against a lesser opponent, that would be it. Because we've seen games where we play terrible against bad defenses anyway. So for us to be able to put it together is a step forward. It didn't really matter who we were playing. Our offense at times just looked bad every game, because we haven't been able to put it together for 4 quarters. So to be able to do that isn't anything to sneeze at. This is an NFL team in the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, they just have fell on hard times this year. Don't really have the guys around the board to be competitive, but they got players like Mad Max on defense. They got Genty Bowers on offense. I mean, they have pieces here and there. Obviously, we got the chance to play Kenny Pickett instead of Geno Smith, which isn't too much of a difference. But, our defense held them to 75 yards total, which is astronomical. It just doesn't happen. We've been able to generate a pass rush over the past few years. How about BG? BG got 2 sacks. One of them got called back. But he recorded 2 sacks in this game. Got some reps in the middle of the defensive line, which he looked pretty good. So BG looked good. Nolan Smith rushed the passer really well. Got him a sack. He demolished the tackle for a sack. Zach Bond continues to be a force in the middle of the field. Got him a pick today. Nakobe Dean, man, we gotta bring Nakobe Dean back next year. Now I know we love um Campbell, our rookie out of Alabama. We love him. He played well when he got his chance in the beginning, but it's just a different level when Nakobe Dean is in there. His play recognition, his burst, his decision making, it's just different. It's a different level. Like no one is seeing the game from the linebacker position like Nakobe Dean week in and week out. Like I watch a lot of football. I watch just about every game. Um, and you just don't see the type of play recognition and burst from a lot of linebackers around the league. And it's just he arrives with bad intentions. I mean, at times, of course, he'll miss a tackle, but everybody misses a tackle. But for the most part, he's on it all. If it's a screen, he's gonna just about beat the linebacker to the ball. He's blowing up run plays. He's diagnosing pass plays. He's doing it all. He's doing it all, and him and Zach Bond are forming one of the best linebacker tandems in the league. I would think so. Last year we saw him put on a clinic, and I think along, I'm sure with a lot of y'all, if Nakobe Dean doesn't get hurt, we may not even be drafting Campbell. Now that could be wrong. We could have just got Campbell because he was still available when he was. But I suspect that we probably go, excuse me, we might go safety if Nakobe Dean was fully healthy, just because of the year he had. He probably would have got extended. But we got to figure something out. Even if it's a 1 year deal, 1 year, prove it, not necessarily a prove it deal, because we just need a year because obviously Jalen Carter, time for him to get a bag. Jordan Davis is having one of those phenomenal type years. We got to figure out something with him. Excuse me. We got to figure out something with them, but we can't let Nakobe Dean go to another team. He's just too valuable. He means too much to this defense, and he just flashed again. So I mean, every week it seems like he's making one of those plays that reminds you of why we were so successful last year and why we were so excited when we drafted him a few years ago. He's one of the heart. He's the heart and soul, or one of the heartbeats of the defense, and you just got to tip your hat off to guys like that, hard workers. He had to sit back and wait his turn behind Kaiser White and TJ Edwards during the 2022 campaign, and he learned from them, and boy did he soak that up, because as soon as he got his chance, as soon as he was able to get healthy and show what he could do, he showed it last year. And now that he's back healthy, he's doing it again. He might even be better this time around than he was last year, and that's hard to believe. So when we think about the defense, as I mentioned before, the defense has pretty much been holding us down all year long, but they were able to get a shutout. I believe in the second half they only surrendered 22 yards. Recorded another 4 or 5 sacks. And I said in a previous video that I suspect that it was going to take one game for us to go crazy in the sack column, and that was going to unlock our pass rush fully. And I think that game was last week against the Chargers. We got 7 sacks against the Chargers, followed up with another 4 or 5 sacks this week. I think our sack totals have been up since we've been back from the bye, with the addition of Jalen Phillips and what he provides in not only the pass rush, but the run stop. Um, Ever since we've been back off the bye, we've been able to get pressure. We've been able to get there. I think we had like 19 sacks in that span, as opposed to 24 sacks before the bye, in the 8 or 9 games that we played before the bye. So we are rounding into a top 10, top 5 type of defensive unit. And this was the first game where we looked like we could have, at the very least, a top 10 offensive unit. Now, like I said, you do got to pump the brakes just a little bit, just because one is just one game, two, it was the Raiders, but it is a lot to be excited about, and I can't wait to play the Commanders this Saturday. Um, Obviously, they won't have Jaden Daniels, but before hop into that preview, it's actually some news around the league that I want to talk about. As many of you've heard, we lost two stars to for the season. Patrick Mahomes, he tears his ACL and I think his LCL in a loss in which the Chiefs were eliminated. He rolls out to the right, and you could kind of tell right away that it didn't look good. And then in the NFC, Micah Parsons, he tears his ACL um, in the game against Denver. So Denver played the Packers. He's doing his usual pressures and non-contact injury. You could tell right away he hit the ground that it wasn't a good one. So those I think obviously both injuries are devastating to the franchise. Wishing them speedy recoveries. Prayers going out to both of their families. But when you consider, I think the impact of losing Micah this season is bigger than Pat Mahomes, because when he got hurt, when they lost that game, they're out of the playoffs. So even though you hate to see a player go down like that, it's not like they have any aspirations of going to the postseason or Super Bowl this year because they were eliminated. Packers are right in the hunt. They're not in the hunt. They're trying to, they got aspirations of locking down the one seed, winning the division. So losing a guy like Michael Parsons evens the playing field for some of the lesser teams. I think it does make them take a step back. It makes them a little less dangerous. Um, I wasn't worried about them really with Micah, just because we know how to defend Micah. Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and the rest of our offensive line has had plenty of experience blocking Micah. We know very well how he can wreck a game, but he's never really wrecked a game against us. And the Packers, we tend to have their number as well when we line up against them. So it's different for us as opposed to any other matchup that they will have. But make no mistake about it, that's a huge loss for the Packers. Now, will they still have a chance to go deep in the playoffs? Absolutely. Um, they still got a hell of an offense. Jordan Love is playing decent ball down the stretch. They have a chance to win the division. They got a big game coming up this Saturday against the Bears. And the winner of that one will probably be in first place and potentially win the division or help them win the division with us only having 3 games left. So, we're at that part of the year where teams are jockeying for playoff position, trying to lock down division titles, trying to jockey for seeding. So obviously you got the NFC West with the Rams, and that's another good one this Thursday. So that one's gonna be on primetime sports, where the Rams and the Seahawks are both 11-2, and they're going against each other this Thursday. That's going to be a matchup with huge playoff implications. So one team is going to go to 12 wins. Obviously, we don't want them to get whoever wins that game. We don't want them to get more than that, because at because of the games that we've lost, our ceiling is 12 wins. If we win out, we only have the max games that we can win this year is 12. So we can go 12-5 and let the chips fall where they may. Um, if we win one more game, we automatically win the division. First time in 20 years that anybody in the NFC has been able to repeat as division champs since we did it. Um, Dallas folded. They lost to the Vikings last night in typical Dallas fashion. Um, but with that loss, I think that drops them to like a 1% chance. Only way in, they can't make it as a wild card. They would have to win out, we would have to lose out. If they lose one more game, they're eliminated. If we win one more game, they're eliminated. Doesn't have to be both. It can be either or. They could literally win out and we win one more game and they're eliminated. So um, they put themselves behind the eight ball to start. I think the moves that they made, although they were good moves and they seemed to move, I wouldn't say move the needle, but they did help the defense get better. Let's put it that way. The defense got better. It was just too little, too late. And then with the opportunity that you had on the back end, you squandered it. So I mean, to be able, you had to have this one against the Vikings at home. They were 5-8 coming into that game, and you just dropped the ball. So with that being said, now the Eagles are in a good spot where we win, we're in, we punch our ticket, we win the division, and it'll be time to worry about seeding at that point. But let's go ahead and focus on punching our way into the dance. We can't do that unless we talk about this matchup Saturday against the Washington Commanders. We'll talk more. We'll talk all about this matchup after a word from our sponsor. Introducing Black Diamond Concentrate from Diamond Collection, a premium mineral supplement crafted to elevate your hydration experience. Formulated with no dyes, sweeteners, or artificial flavors, Black Diamond Concentrate is 100% natural. Just 2 dropfuls added to a 16.9 ounce bottle of water can transform the way you hydrate. Order today at poweredbytmb.com and use code DSP at checkout to receive a 20% discount. That's code DSP. All right, let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the Down South Philly Show, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to comment at any point. And as always, subscribe. But let's talk Washington Commanders, man. So we got a matchup against the Washington Commanders. They're a 2-3 win team. Quarterback gone and Jaden Daniels. It was a rough season when he was in, but it just was a riddle. I would say the Commanders have been riddled with injury pretty much all year long. They got just a bad go at it. They never really. Yo, yo,
You can hear me?
yep.
All right, bet.
Just had start talking about the Commanders. Give me your thoughts on that matchup.
Man, I didn't see they last game, but they beat the Giants, right?
Hmm.
I didn't see their last game, but just watching them this season, um, of course, I feel like everybody else feel. I feel like we should win that game. Now, I don't know what everybody else feel about this, but I also know it's a division game. And for whatever reason, everybody in the division play the Eagles the toughest. Like, they got something to prove when they play Philly. So I feel like either way we should, get that W, go ahead and lock up the East, but I don't by any means think it'll be an easy win. Now, could the Eagles go in there and surprise me? Yeah. And I would prefer for them to do that. I'm trying to come out with a W by any means. So, if we got to grind it out, if we got to blow them out, whatever. We got to come out there with a W by any means. But yeah, they don't have Jaden Daniels for the. They really haven't really had him too much this season, but they don't got him for the rest of the season. Got Mariota back there. He more than capable of winning the game. He been doing it on and off all season. Um, we just got to go in there and make sure we kind of contain him really, cause he gonna be looking to use his legs. He gonna be looking to extend plays. Um, and we just got to go in there and stop him in the run game. And I feel like the rest of it take care of itself, cause we put them in a situation where we know what they doing. They got to pass the ball. That's the recipe as far as stopping their offense. Defensively, their defense haven't really been that good all season, but it don't matter if they come in there and play us tough. Then it don't matter what they was doing all those other games. So, they are there to be taken advantage of though. Even if they do want to come in there and be tough, because even if you look at them, even when they wasn't playing well, then they turned around and they was playing. They played Kansas City real tough in the beginning of their game. So a lot of defenses, no matter how bad they are, they can have their moments when they choose to. So we can't come in there thinking they're gonna have some cupcake defense. Now we can come in there and impose our will and kind of take their will and make them play down to what they've been playing at a lot of this season. But we can't come in there playing around, letting them stay around, committing penalties, giving them short yardage and stuff like that to work with. We got to come in there and handle business. Do pretty much what we kind of did in the Raiders game, because we eliminated a lot of penalties we've been having all season. So we can go in there and play our brand of ball, eliminate penalties, um, take advantage of opportunities. We can't have guys dropping balls in the end zone and things of that nature. But if we come in there and do what we're supposed to do, regardless of how it look, we should be coming out of here with a W.
Man, these games is always tricky, like you said. When it's family business involved, they know us, we know them. They tend to play us harder than anybody on our schedule. Um, the fans kind of been talking spicy since last year. I'm sure they want to beat us by any means. Um, we in a great spot. We got the opportunity to pretty much take care of if we take care of business, obviously we'll wrap up the division. First time in 20 years that we repeat or anybody repeats as the NFC East champ. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Obviously we also can happen if the Cowboys lose any game. But in this game in particular, it's really not a whole lot to talk about. Because they just not a real good football team. At the end of the day, it's not really much. Um, Now, like you said, it could be completely different in the game. They could come out playing inspired football. With a battery pack on them. They at home. So for whatever that means, we normally pack their stadium out. So I'm sure we're gonna be in attendance, especially with them losing like they losing. We probably gonna outnumber them in the stadium, or at least be like 50-50, 60-40, something like that. Um, Give me your impact player. Who you think gonna get off in this game and help lead us to victory if they do so?
Man, I'm gonna say,
I need to start writing this down too.
yeah, we should have been doing it all season. But I'm gonna say, see what my boy Nolan gonna do on defense, man.
Now he got him one. He got him one this past week.
I don't know how much PT he gonna get, but I feel like if he get out there, he gonna be cooking. So I feel like whoever gonna be on that edge over there for whatever reason, it's between Nolan and Phillips calling my name. I just feel like some heat gonna be coming off their edge. I don't know. But if Nolan get a good bit of playing time, I feel like he gonna be out there doing his thing. Maybe he don't get a lot of playing time and it's Phillips. Something gonna come off their edge and get hot. But
You saying
and
Nolan
then
or Jalen?
on offense, give me Saquon, man.
Saquon.
This is
Hey, he
Saquon
started.
Barkley show.
If you notice, he started to heat up at the end of this game against the Raiders, and if it was a closer game, who knows? He probably would have been able to break one.
Yeah, give me Saquon, man. Um, give me Saquon. I say Saquon take a couple to the crib, or at least have some big run. I say he did at least take one to the crib and
Well,
have
his
some big
best
games.
his best games last year came against Washington
Rams.
and the Rams.
Well, yeah, I don't even know why I said Saquon. I just felt like he was gonna be Saquon. I ain't got no rhyme or reason to it. He just felt it in my bones.
Hey, I had talked a little bit about it before you got on, but before we finish out the preview, who is your impact not impact player, but who gets your game ball for the Raiders game?
That's tough. Trying to think what all happened. Hell, it would have been got it, but he damn he ain't he ain't dropped that one pass. I would have gave it to got it, which he still balled out. He still had some big time outside of the touchdown. He still had some big time catches. I'm trying to think what all happened in that game. Yeah, I still offensively, I still might have to give it. Let me see. We had AJ Carter gets offensively. I had to probably get. I still probably had to get got it offensively. I now if I was giving a bunch of awards, you know what I'm saying, the offensive line did their thing. They really stepped up, but I don't want to give it to a whole group, so I give it to got it. Defensively, Nakobe Dean.
Hall monitor. I
Nakobe
knew
Dean
it.
was Nakobe Dean was out there on their ass like white on rice on a glass of milk and a paper plate in the snowstorm.
Hmm.
But yeah, defensively, I had to give it to. Now, quiet as kept. Don't nobody be trying Quinion over there. They don't be trying Quinion worth a damn. But I ain't gonna give it to him. I give it to Nakobe Dean and who I said got it.
Hey, we had to do not necessarily for this one game, but an honorable mention got to go out to Dory Jackson because he
Mhm.
hasn't like he been quiet. So as a DB, when you quiet, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah,
He
I
got a
think
sack.
that
He got a pick last week. He just been solid and not the reason why we lost the game for really the past few weeks. And he
right,
just been kind of like building his confidence.
right. Yeah, I like you know what I seen out of him the last couple weeks, and like you said, I think that's really built his confidence, especially with him coming in and getting a pick. He been having PBUs. Every now and then he still might be out the damn screen on a like maybe one play, but they ain't killing them all game. Where he just got damn 30 yards behind, and then you like the hell to do it yet?
Hmm.
But yeah, he been holding it down. That's all you really can ask for. Like if you gonna give up some, hey, one, you get one a game. You get one a game and get it out the way before the fourth quarter because we don't need nothing serious giving up in that fourth quarter. So if you gonna give something up, get right early. But yeah, like you said, he honorable. That kind of I wasn't on last Tuesday, but that would have been my honorable mention for last week because I kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, Dory kind of holding it down, but so yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm rocking with Dory on that honorable mention.
Yeah. So we both expect um well, I don't know about expect, but we should if we take care of business and play our brand of football, we should go ahead and lock this game up and the division. But with that being said, then we can start to focus on seeding. So if we win out, the max we can be is 12-5 down the stretch. Obviously, with the little 3-game losing streak that we had, that all but kills our chances at the 1 seed. Still not out of the 1 seed, but it just makes it a lot got to happen. Um, we do have a matchup of the 11-win teams this Thursday in the Rams and the Seahawks. It would be nice if they just go ahead and tie, but they probably won't. But whoever wins that game gonna have their 12th win, and if they lose out at that point, then if it's the Rams, then we might have a shot at it. But that's kind of a long shot. What would be your ideal scenario in the playoffs, like realistically for us?
I was kind of saying the other. Well, really, I've been thinking last since we lost that game to. the Chargers, ever since then I've been on. Well, my focus really like I ain't really. If we get the 1 seed, we get the 1 seed. But my focus is like, all right, let's just get the best record we can. Try to get that 2 seed. That way, all our other games are at home, and hopefully the 1 seed lose, and we still have all our games at home, kind of like last year. Um, if not, we can go on the road, and I don't really care about going to L.A. or Seattle. To play the NFC. Like if we win those 2 games, then we got an NFC Championship game. I don't mind playing in my L.A., Seattle, either one of them. The only thing I feel like can save Seattle is their defense. And the Rams, I just playing in that stadium. It's gonna be a great weather, so at the end of the day, we at least be able to play our best ball. So, they're gonna give their best, we're gonna give our best, but we ain't gotta worry about the weather. So I feel good about either one of those.
Yeah, I think.
Fans seeing as they would probably be the only 2 teams that we would probably have to go on the road if we had to go anywhere and play anywhere.
Hmm. Now it's a small chance that the Bears could end up.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, the
forgot about
Bears
the
could
Chicago.
end up as the 2 seed if this game Saturday gonna be big for them too. They play the Packers Saturday, and the winner of that is probably gonna take over the division lead.
Yeah, I
And we
definitely
got we got the head to head against the Packers, so obviously we'll be going for the Packers this Saturday.
even if let's say Chicago got the 1 seed, and somehow, some way, it came down to Chicago Eagles. We in Chicago. I mean, anything is possible, but I personally don't think Chicago could beat us twice.
Nah, I gotta see it. And this time around, like we already know what they're gonna be focused on. We gonna stop that. We gotta stop that run and make Caleb prove everything they saying about him.
Yeah, you ain't really gonna get off on the Eagles twice. Now, is it possible? Yeah, any damn thing possible, but I don't think they'll get off on us twice. Especially not with the same thing. Yeah, maybe you come in there, you done bust us in the head with something new, but you're not
Hmm.
gonna come in there with the same MO and win the game. Um, but I honestly don't mind playing any of those teams. We gotta really just handle our business and get to the NFC Championship game, and I like our chances against any of those teams, really.
Yeah, the team that scared me the most in the playoffs is KP's offense.
Mhm.
Outside of that, like you said, anybody like if it's the Bucks, if it's the Panthers, if it's anybody that come out of the North, anybody that come out of the West, anybody in the NFC, like nobody. I'm picking us over any of those teams for a lot of reasons, but
Right.
mainly because we just the better team. Now, a lot of people, if you ask the media and a lot of people, a lot of fans, everybody's saying that the Rams are the favorite. But even though they are playing some good ball, it's a couple things that they are to consider. One, we seem to kind of have the Rams number, which is a thing. Um, Two, Stafford ain't really he never really kill us like that. Like, and nobody does really. When you look at the numbers against Vic Fangio defense, don't nobody really get off on us like that. So I mean, even if you having this great campaign, this MVP campaign, that don't fly in Philly. So when it comes down to who who I would like to see the least out of anybody, I guess it would be the Rams just because of the fact that we done already played them this year. But if I'm being honest, I'm still not worried about the matchup.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't really got one, but I would say which teams match up well against us. I think the Rams match up well against us. I still think Tampa Bay match up well against us. Um, like I said with Seattle, and then when I say they match up well against us, I think offensively and defensively they match up well against us, like all around. And so Seattle, I don't necessarily think they match up well against us, but I think their only chance is to try to stifle our offense and make it a
Mhm.
defensive kind of battle. Where it's a low scoring game or somehow we go on tit for tat or whatever. But I think that's what could save Seattle. Because I don't think old buddy would just come in and just get off on our defense. So I think they
I
only
wouldn't mind seeing JSN against Mitch.
yeah. Um, yeah, at first that was the team I kind of wanted. I was like, yeah, I want Seattle, but now like lately it's like they ain't as looking as invincible as they was when they was looking like they was a team. Oh, I wanted some
Mhm.
smoke, but now they kind of looking regular. Now they kind of looking a little bit more regular. It's like, I really don't care if we get them or not. Trying to think who else in there. Really, just like I said, I think Tampa Bay match up well against us, and I think the Rams match up well against us. I'm trying to think who else will be in the playoffs. I don't think Green Bay necessarily. I mean, they got a good team, but I can't say I really think they match up well against us. They kind of do, but I just
I
think they
mean,
just. I think
them
they
losing Micah is huge.
Yeah, I think they just a good team. And they would not, and not to say that we'll just go in there and beat them. They'll still give us a tough matchup, but I think Tampa Bay and the Rams are tougher matchups
Mhm.
for the Eagles. Um, Trying to think who else like in the playoffs.
The Niners, they right on the edge. It's really gonna be a
I
either or. Either it's
I
gonna be
can't really
Tampa
say
Bay
for
or
the
the Panthers.
I really can't say for the Niners. I don't feel like I watched them enough. So it'll be hard for me to say. I know how they normally play and how they normally match up, but it'll hard for me to really be really safe for this year. Excuse me, because I haven't watched them as much. And then when I did watch them, I feel like it was a little bit earlier in the season, so I haven't seen them as a late, especially with quarterback coming back. Um,
They just super hurt.
yeah. Carolina, I can't say I watched them enough. Um, Damn, have I watched? I haven't watched Carolina this year, so I can't say nothing about them. I haven't watched them at all this year. I don't think. Yeah, so I would have to say Tampa Bay and the Rams, like probably match up the well against us the most, and then I probably would say like teams with good defenses like Seattle or something that could really keep them in the game and keep it a close game.
Yeah, that's why I feel so confident about not only the NFC playoff picture, but whoever we could possibly get if we were to make it to the Super Bowl. The only team on that side that's got any real kind of name is the Bills.
Yeah, yeah. Just like we were saying last night. I personally feel like our toughest goal is like our toughest stretch is like getting to the Super Bowl. Like we get there, I don't feel like there's nobody in the AFC that's gonna be able to really beat Philly. Like I said, I feel the same way about the Broncos that I kind of feel about Seattle. They got a good enough defense where Mike could keep 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 them in the game. Not this. I mean, we could just come out there and get all over them, especially since we've seen them once. We never really know. But a lot of times, if you got a good defense now, Kansas City had a great defense last year, but they was kind of like
Mhm.
hit or miss. Um, but yeah, I think anybody. I don't think the Bill. I don't think the Bills want no smoke with us like in the Super Bowl. Like especially and what's gonna be bad for them is we play y'all in the regular season. So we already done seen you once. Yeah, it's over with. Um, who else over there?
The
Oh, the
Ravens, they
Patriots.
might not even make it.
The Patriots. Kind of talked about this yesterday as well. The Patriots. I feel like the Patriots get there and I feel like the moment would be too much for them. I feel like their moment might be too much for them, and I already feel like they can't beat us, but then I just feel like everything about the Super Bowl will probably end up being too much for them in the end. And I feel like that about a lot of those other teams. We see Josh Allen always come up short in the biggest moments. Maybe he'll finally get over the hump without Mahomes being in the Mahomes being in the playoffs. It'll be
Hey, it ain't
funny.
no
It'll be funny,
Mahomes. It ain't no Burrow. It might
right?
not be no Lamar.
Right. So hell, it ain't gonna be no excuse for a lot of these quarterbacks. Um, so it'll be interesting to see who come out the AFC.
Mhm. It's
In
gonna
that
be
part.
interesting to see who even make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. On both sides, really.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't think nobody on the AFC can really mess with us like that. I mean, it's some teams over there that got a chance, but I think, like I said, I think our biggest opponents is in the NFC getting to the Super Bowl.
And KP's offense.
Cause
We get
like
that.
let's say the Rams made it. Let's say the Rams make it to the Super Bowl. Like I don't even really see. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think yeah, I don't think nobody match up well in the AFC with the Rams, really.
Nah, it would probably be a good game against them and the Bills, though.
Yeah, I
Like
think.
I
Well,
feel
I don't know.
that
I
might
don't
be
like the
like a
Bills'
shootout.
defense so damn suspect. They
That's
might
what I'm
beat the
saying. It might be a shootout.
because that I don't even know if it'll be because I feel like that Rams defense get all over Josh Allen. Like
Well, all Josh Allen gotta do is go at Forbes.
yeah, if he can, because that defensive line, he got to get the ball off. Once that defensive line start getting off on his ass, it be looking like that. What was they playing, the Texans?
Yeah, they was on him. The Texans was on
Yeah,
him.
it be looking just like that. But yeah, I don't even think none of them teams probably match up well with the Rams. Now outside of us and the Rams, I think any of those teams versus any of the other teams in the NFC will probably be a good game. But I mean, not say that it won't with us, but I'm just saying as far as like on paper and what we've seen so far this season, um, they probably trying to see somebody else. They don't want no smoke with Philly.
I can't wait, but I can't wait to see how this thing shake out. So we're gonna see exactly what happened Saturday. Obviously, we're gonna be going live for the game 5 o'clock Saturday against the Commanders. But we also got the Thursday night game with the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. So hopefully that end in a tie. That would be perfect. But I need to get your thoughts on in like the whole game against the Raiders. Was that
Oh, my
was
thoughts
that
are
just
against
was that just the Raiders or
yeah,
we might have some?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was just the Raiders. And I think we also found some things in that game. Like, I mean, they still an NFL team at the end of the day, but I think we found some things. I think we built some confidence. I think there's a little bit of all that stuff intertwined in one. And then one thing, y'all, if y'all pay attention to me enough, I'm not really, for the most part, it's hard to be 100%, but I'm really not whenever I give my take on something, I'm really not biased towards the Eagles. Sometimes I just might know more about the Eagles in certain situations than others. But if I wasn't an Eagles fan, I would be saying the same thing everybody else saying. They just played the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit of we just played the Raiders, but it also was a get right game for us. We also found some things in it. You know, people got their confidence up, and if we do what we're supposed to do, it'd be a stepping stone to go on the run, streaking into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a wait and see because it was just one game. So we'll find out if it meant something the next 3 games.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, shoot, that's really all we had to talk about this week. Obviously, we wanted to recap the Raiders game, preview the Commanders game, and just talk about just some Eagles news. But ain't nothing really happened this week to note.
I would just want to. I know it's been said multiple times. but it just can't be said enough. That man, Nakobe Dean, is a bad man. You hear me?
Yeah, we need to figure that out
This
by
a
any
bad. We
means.
can. It's a couple people we can't let get out the building. One is Nakobe Dean, and the other one is we can't let Big Fred get out the building. We can't
Yeah,
let Big Fred get out the
he's too
building,
important.
and we can't let Nakobe Dean. Now I'm sure some other people, but those two is probably top two on my list. We cannot let Big Fred get out the building, and we cannot let Nakobe Dean get out the building.
You heard it here first. I got it. I got my cash app ready for him. Drop that bread off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all we had this week on the Down South Philly Show, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. Catch us on Primetime Sports this Thursday with the NFC West matchup of the Rams and the Seahawks. But until then, go Birds.
Go Birds.